of Mami Akufo-Addo government, the situation of our economy, the hardship people are facing, the increasing unemployment, and all the difficulties that they are going through. They want somebody who's more experienced, who knows how to run things, come and take over and rescue this country.
Will be a good parliamentary majority for him?
Absolute majority. There's going to be a hell. I predict more than 1.
It's okay. This election, you had cause to complain that the EC was colluding with the party in power. Are you satisfied with what you have seen following today's vote?
The process hasn't ended. And often, in my experience with MPs, and with the EC and elections, it's normally peaceful until something starts happening. That's why I said if it continues like this to the end, we'll all be satisfied. But you never know what our opponents have got up their sleeve.
What checks are you put in place to ensure that you, according to your perception, are not cheated out in this election?
We've done that, all that any political party needs to do. We have trained our agents. We have agents in all the 40,663 polling stations. Trained as well. And we have monitors and observers all looking out to make sure that everything goes well. After this, normally the voting process is smooth. And then the problem starts coming when
At your father's grave just a while ago, can you tell us how to find that?
I just want to say in my battle ahead, some tough task or assignment. It is their tradition to go to the Abdu and ask them to spend the day. So my uncles organized the prayers and they must and so they said must
Abdul Fatao Gonja
never sleep. I didn't do Nasara. I'm come where I'm coming later. As Kamanika, where I'm getting Imbronible EIU Fish Solutions, and I'm a domestic opinion pollers, but global info analytics. As Kumaba prediction, so on very high level of confidence. Inshallah. I'm Bambato Mokibi. I'm Bole Big Keke. Bole Bamboy Big Keke. Savannah Keke. I'm to look at. I'm supposed to get to Bella Roberto. So, Escamela. That's
What John Sato.
Yesterday was our last day.
What's your assessment of the process so far?
Well, so far so good. Everything has been smooth. I've been touring most of the polling stations across the constituency. It's quite big, but so far everything is running well.
Okay. So what would you, in terms of security and arrest, what have you seen so far?
Oh, everything is on point. As for security, everything is on point. I know they are on standby if something funny should happen, so everything is on point.
Okay. With respect to the voters to go to some of the polling stations, they didn't begin on time and the rest.
Yeah.
What have you observed?
Well, yes. I mean, of course, there are some glitches here and there. They didn't begin on time, but I'm sure that most of them are moving, and I'm sure that by midday that the queue will reduce, and then probably will pick up just before it ends. But all in all, everything is fine.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
For now.
John Sato.
Yesterday was our last day.
Sama kwenye ishi na nchi ya Marekani na nchi ya
Okay, so good afternoon once again. And the Kintampo issue, you found out that the first candidate's picture was torn. So we have 15 of such ballots per the records that we are having. The police has issued a statement and the case is under what? Investigation. The commission is yet to take a decision on that. With the Yendi issue, the 1,210, we have found out that the ballots are fake. And for that matter, they cannot be used. The story is a fake one. Thank you for the correction. Then with the delayed voting at Faith Academy, we all know that there is an inbuilt system which indicates that if you are at the polling station before 5 o'clock, you will have the opportunity to do what? Cast your vote. So if there are about 1,000 in the queue, all of them will be given the opportunity to do that. So we encourage all voters at Faith Academy, once voting is ongoing, to be there by 5, and they will have the opportunity to cast their vote. The rest will be taken by the Director of Electoral Services. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I want to put on record that the Electoral Commission did not lose guard, and we have never lost guard. We engage temporary officials for such exercises. And as you are aware, we have engaged over 40,000. There was whole polling stations, 40,000. I'm talking about polling. We have 40,648 polling stations. Multiply that by 5, it gives over 200,000 officials. These are all temporary officials. We recruit them and train them. But as you are aware, as human beings as we are, some people may always want to come out on their own purpose. But the system is such that if you do that, the system will expose you, as it has done. And so when such a thing happens, we deal with the person according to the law, the requirements of the law. So it is not the Electoral Commission that lost guard, but rather it was one of officials who decided to go against the directives and the training that we have given to that person. I think that was the only question that was left for me. So, thank you so much. But we have sent a warning to the remaining officials. Anyone who does anything untoward will be taken care by the law.
Yes, with the validating stamp, we have 2 validating stamps with 2 different numbers. We haven't, you don't have parliamentary or presidential on any of the 2 validating stamps. I hope you get me. So they are just the numbers. So you can use any of the numbers for either the presidential or the parliamentary. We haven't written presidential or parliamentary on any of the distinct validating stamps. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It is for consistency. That's why we said use this and use that. But the purpose of the validation stamp is to enable us to identify any foreign material that will be found in the ballot box during counting. So even if it is swap, it can still play that role.
Doesn't have any specific numbers.
What I mean is that even if it is swap, it can still play that role. You look at the spirit of the law, the purpose for which it was brought. That is the most important thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, members of the press. Our next update will be at 3 p.m. We'll continue at 6 p.m. and then 9 p.m. Thank you very much. We'd like to thank you, commissioners, deputy chairs, directors and deputy directors for coming. Members of the press, thank you. We bring our updates to an end. In the next 3 hours, we'll come back. I think it's almost 2 hours. Yes, we'll come back to you. Thank you. See you. Bye.
In the year 2000, social media.
Because it's not right. So, John Dramani Mahama, the Assembly box yes. So, it's when the meditation, yes, presidential ballot now. Yes, yes, Farida Mahama, Adamso, so currently, the state administration is John Dramani Mahama, yes, yes, exactly. Presidential ballot. Presidential ballot.
Incumbent member of parliament for the Bali Bamba he is normally second Let's come back. Please, we are too noisy.
The process that I've seen it here is smooth, and it didn't take more than 3 minutes for me to finish voting. If it's the same everywhere in the country, then I think we'll have a successful election.
Have all predicted victory for you. Are you confident of the parliamentary victory as well?
Yes, there's one election that almost everybody can see what the results are. Other elections have been not as obvious, but with this one, everybody can tell the direction of the political movement. And that's because of the abysmal performance of the Mami Akufo-Addo government, the situation of our economy, the hardship people are facing, the increasing unemployment, and all the difficulties that they are going through. They want somebody who's more experienced, who knows how to run things, to come into government and rescue this country.
Will be a good parliamentary majority for you?
Absolute majority. There's going to be a hell. I predict more than 1.
It's okay. This election, you have cause to complain that the EC was colluding with the party in power. Are you satisfied with what you have seen following today's vote?
The process hasn't ended. And often, in my experience with MPs, and with the EC and elections, it's normally peaceful until something start happening. That's why I said if it continues like this to the end, we'll all be satisfied. But you never know what our opponents have got up their sleeve.
What checks are you put in place to ensure that you, according to your perception, are not cheated out in this election?
We've done that, all that any political party needs to do. We have trained our agents. We have agents in all the 40,663 polling stations. Trained as well. And we have monitors and observers all looking out to make sure that everything is well. After this, normally the voting process is smooth. And then the problem starts coming when you have most of it.
At your father's grave just a while ago, can you tell us what you find?
I just like to sit in my a battle ahead, some task or assignment. It is their tradition to go to the office and ask them to stand behind me. And so it's normal in our party. So my uncles organized the prayers and gave us time. And so they said was
Patao, Gonja.
Solutions, amber domestic opinion pollers, global info analytics. So, very high level of confidence. Inshallah.
I think it's a very smooth process. I was informed that our materials have been on time since we started monitoring at dawn. The process is pretty simple, identification, etc. And we're able to, myself and my wife have discussed our ballot. We're going to monitor the other polling stations and then we'll wait for the counting and the coalition. But so far here in the constituency, it's been generally count.
You had target in 2016, 2020, 2024. What is your target?
Well, our target or our actuals from 2016 were at a starting point. Consistently, I think our numbers have improved, and we are looking to improve it again this time around.
Specific figure?
No, I won't give you our specific figures.
You know,
we have improved consistently, and we expect to improve one more time.
People are aiming getting 60, 70. We know this constituency has been a stronghold of the NPP. 2020, you did quite well. So if you can put a figure on it, that would be best.
We moved from 2016, we moved to 2020. We'll be going higher in 2024.
What about the process? How do you see the process?
Pretty smooth so far, as I mentioned. Materials arrived on time. We haven't had any disturbances here. Pretty peaceful. We've just finished casting our ballots, my wife and I, and we're going to monitor what's going on in the other polling stations.
Good for now.
The team have been engaging with some voters here at Ayawaso West Bogon, specifically the Legon campus, and we're here to know what they have experienced and how processes during the voting have been so far. Good morning.
Good morning.
Tell us how the process so far has been.
Well, so far it's been smooth. That the polling units have been splitted, so it's very easy. Just that if you were not here during the exhibition, you don't know exactly which side you are. So when you go here, they tell you move to the next. You move to the next, they say go next. But it's been very smooth. The only challenge I've noticed has got to do with the length of the ballot paper. You say it's very long, and then the polling booth is short. So wherever you are standing and voting, anyone, including the agents, are able to spot. So if you are pulling the paper in, it means you are voting someone down. Then if the paper is coming down the booth, obviously you are voting someone up there. So I think that's a challenge. Maybe it wasn't anticipated, but it should have been checked. Or maybe it should be, the polling booth should be positioned in such a way that nobody can really tell how you are voting. But for now, everything is fine.
So in general, what are your expectations after this election?
Okay, so in the morning, I voted now. The mornings, we've known this is the third time I'm voting in an election. And it's very smooth. It's in the afternoon and getting to the closing time that there are always challenges. We pray with the division in the polling units. There are no challenges. Everyone goes through. I spent less than 5 minutes voting. So my challenge is that let's get to the time of counting. I'm going home. I will be back. I have charged three rechargeable lamps to aid transparency in collation. I'll be at the polling station. We'll come and finish. We will all accompany the ballot papers to the collation centers, wherever it will be. We will follow up to ensure that our ballots really count. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much.
You are welcome.
To whatever results that the EC will announce. So we have always been telling the EC that in this particular context, we are all friends. We are friends because we help them. I remember the other day when there was an election and it turned out to be controversial. We had to rush to the premises of the EC to dialogue with them. And to we would have had the same result. And indeed, when we sat them down and we discussed it, everything went well. So, in order not to bore you, we are here this morning, as Kujo said, to tell you exactly what we're going to do for the 2024 election, the preparations that we've made so far about the election. Ours is to make sure that the election result that is turned out is credible, is acceptable to everybody, and is not controversial. So without much ado, I would like to hand over to the MC Kujo to tell you of what is going to happen next. But like he said, after this forum, you will be invited also to join us at the data center, where there are officials there to run you through what we mean by the PVT that we've always been talking about. Thank you very much, and get ready for what is going to happen. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ahin. As we go along, I'll be trying to recognize some of our dignitaries here. First, let me recognize the British High Commissioner, Madam Harriet Thompson. Thank you very much, and also thank you very much for your support. Also, we have really excited to have a number of our sister domestic election observation groups from across Africa that are here to support us. The West Africa Democracy Solidarity Network, WADIMOS, together with the West Africa Election Observers Network, WION, are here. If they can give a wave. Yes. Thank you. We also have the Eastern Horn of Africa Election Observers Network, who are also here. All right. Thank you very much. We have the Nigerian Civil Society Situation Room, who are here. I haven't seen Dr. Gampe. Oh, good. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. International Women Communication Center. Hello, Dr. Jiwa. Yaga Africa. All right. Good. So they are all here to show solidarity. They are also undertaking a study mission. The NDI study group are also here. Thank you. We have some of our colleagues from Palestine all here. Thank you very much for coming. So now, before we go to the statement, let me invite one of our coordinators at CODEO, Mr. Joseph Otifrimpong, to introduce members of the CODEO Advisory Board. CODEO has a 25-member advisory board, and some of them are here. We also have members of our General Assembly, the 42 members that make up CODEO. General Assembly members, if you're here, great. Thank you very much. Joseph, if you will take the floor and introduce the advisory board members here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doc. So the Coalition of Domestic Election Observers is made up of 42 member organizations, and out of that we have 25 advisory board members. Out of the 25, 10 are independent. As the co-chair of CODEO, he is a Reverend Minister of the Ghana Baptist Convention. We have Professor H. Kwesi Prempeh, who is the Executive Director of the Ghana Center for Democratic Development, who is also a member of the CODEO Advisory Board. We have Ms. Susanna Na Secretary from the Trade Union Congress. She is also a member of the board. We have Professor Emmanuel Jimabwadi, the board chair of Afro Barometer. We have Mrs. Philippa Larson from the Ghana National Association of Teachers, NATS. So please, you can stand and wave. Okay, that's Mrs. Philippa Larson. We have Mr. Frank Bicham from the Ghana Bar Association. We have Mr. Kofi Bentum Kwanson, former National Security Coordinator and former Director of BNI. We have Mr. Alexander Bankole from the Ghana Federation of Disability Organizations. We have Ms. Joyce Nyami from Youth Bridge Foundation. Joyce. We have Mr. Eric Kabonu from the National Association of Graduate Teachers, that's NAGRAT. We have Ms. Hamida Harrison from the Abantu for Development. Sheikh Arimaya Shaibu, who is the spokesperson of the National Chief Imam, is also a member of the board. Reverend Dr. Cyril Forese is from the Christian Council of Ghana, CCG. See here? Okay. Alhaji Ahmed Suleiman Anderson from the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission of Ghana. We have Emerita Professor Techiwa Manu, Senior Fellow at CDD Ghana and a member of the board. Mrs. Nana Asantua Afa Zenu from the West Africa Civil Society Institute, that's WASI. We also have Mrs. Perpetua Ofori Ampofo from the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association. We have Dr. Mazouk Abubakar Azendo from the Office of the National Chief Imam. We have Mrs. Gifty Florence Enin, who is a former commissioner of the Ghana Police Service. We have Apostle Emmanuel Tete from the Ghana Pentecostal and Charismatic Council. Mr. Albert Kwabena Jumfuo, the president of the Ghana Journalist Association. We have Mr. Edmond Akwe from the Civil and Local Government Workers Association, Ghana, COLLATION. We also have Ambassador Francis Tiga, who is a member of the advisory board of CODEO. So these are the people who make the decisions of CODEO to be implemented by the CODEO Secretariat. They are supervising the observation of CODEO for the 2024 general elections. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joseph. Let me also recognize the board chairperson for the Ghana Center for Democratic Development, Professor Audrey Gajapo. Prof, thank you very much for being here. So now we'll go to the statement, and I will invite first Reverend Debe to start, to be followed by Mrs. Villas. Thank you.
Good morning again, ladies and gentlemen. Our friends, the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of my colleagues of the Advisory Board of the Coalition of Domestic Election Observers, CODEO, I welcome you all to this morning's briefing, which is for information about CODEO's preparations for observation of Ghana's presidential and parliamentary elections, which take place this Saturday, December 7. Need I add that is tomorrow? Several weeks ago, on October 17, 2024, we launched CODEO's election observation activities. I am pleased that CODEO is ready to deploy 4,000 observers nationwide for the December polls. Earlier this week, the coalition also completed the setup and full activation of its National Information Center here at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center. The CODEO National Information Center is staffed by over 100 persons. As in previous elections, this center will serve as a central hub for CODEO's observation activities during the elections. Therefore, its successful activation is a significant step in our preparations for the observation exercise and our pursuit of transparent, credible elections. CODEO and its objectives. CODEO's primary goal is to promote transparent, free, fair, inclusive, and peaceful elections in Ghana. To achieve this, CODEO supports and complements the efforts of the Electoral Commission and other stakeholders by mobilizing Ghanaians to participate in electoral processes. On Saturday, December 7, 2024, eligible Ghanaians will exercise that right to select a president and members of parliament for the next 4 years. This will be the 9th time Ghanaians go to the polls since the beginning of the country's current democratic dispensation in 1992. As a democracy, this exercise is significant for the opportunity it provides to all citizens to participate in governance. Conducting the election in a manner that lends credibility and elicits the acceptance of all is critical in this regard. The country has achieved electoral credibility and general acceptance in the previous 8 elections. At the same time, various challenges have and continue to characterize the electoral processes. Given their importance and current challenges, CODEO's independent and impartial role in these elections is crucial. In line with its belief in a comprehensive assessment of the electoral process, CODEO's observation of the 2024 elections encompasses all phases of the electoral cycle, from the pre-election period to the election day and post-election period. The coalition's pre-election observation kicked off with observation of the processes for the updating of the biometric voter register, which took place earlier in the year. As I speak, 97 CODEO long-term observers who observed the pre-election environment have just concluded their observation activities, which began on the first day of October 2024. CODEO's Election Day Observation Deployment. Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to inform you that tomorrow, December 7, 2024, CODEO will deploy 4,000 observers nationwide. These observers will comprise the following: polling station stationary observers, that's CODEO rapid response observers. There will be 3,401 rapid response observers who will observe the polls at a representative sample of polling stations spread throughout the 276 constituencies across the 16 regions of the country. This number includes 1,500 parallel voter tabulation observers, that's a PVT, observers deployed to a statistically representative sample of polling stations and 1,000 youth observers. The stationary observers will observe the election at the assigned polling stations from setup through the declaration of polling station results. And there'll be roaming and mobile observation, that's CODEO roaming observers. In addition to the stationary observers, there will also be CODEO roaming observers. These will include 307 CODEO regional coordinators and constituency supervisors. The roaming observers will be at all 276 constituencies where voting will occur. In addition, members of the CODEO Advisory Board and the CODEO General Assembly will undertake roaming observation in various constituencies. There will be 276 observers, one each, at the 276 constituency collation centers nationwide. For the first time, CODEO would also have 16 observers stationed at the 16 regional collation centers of the EC. 2 observers will also be deployed to the National Coalition Center in Accra. The observers of the collation centers will monitor and report on the collating, tabulation, and declaration of results from the constituency to the national level. CODEO leverages statistical principles to select polling stations for its rapid response observers. The deployment and observation plan ensures a nationwide presence and visibility in every region and constituency, including remote and hard-to-reach areas. The parallel voter tabulation. CODEO will employ the PVT technique to give a comprehensive and accurate account of Ghana's election day process. The PVT involves deploying observers to a statistically representative sample of polling stations on election day. PVT observers will report on the quality of the setup, opening, voting, closing, and counting at the assigned polling station, providing a nationwide assessment of the process. Additionally, observers record official presidential results declared by the poll officials at their CODEO assigned polling stations. They then forward these results to CODEO's National Information Center, allowing CODEO to estimate the presidential voting results at a national level with slight margins of error. The official results announced by the Electoral Commission at the national level will be compared to the PVT estimates. PVT, ladies and gentlemen, helps deter manipulation and, as appropriate, enhances transparency and increases confidence in official results. CODEO uses this observation methodology to assess the quality of election day processes and to estimate vote results accurately. Preparation of CODEO observers for the election day. What have we done so far? In October, CODEO kicked off its preparation for election day observation with a 3-day national training of trainers for CODEO regional coordinators in Accra. Subsequently, in November 2024, the coalition recruited and trained 276 constituency supervisors nationwide. Finally, in November, the coalition recruited and trained polling station rapid response observers. Every recruited observer received training on election and election observation, including the legal framework for elections, election day procedures, election observation, and tools of observation, as well as the Code of Conduct for Election Observers. To ensure their adequate preparation, officials from the Electoral Commission facilitated training in the voting processes. CODEO observers were recruited mainly from its member organizations as well as selected youth-focused organizations. All observers observing the polls tomorrow have been accredited by the Electoral Commission. CODEO is grateful to the EC for its training, support, and accreditation for observers. As a member of the global network of domestic election monitors, CODEO adheres to the Declaration of Global Principles for Non-Partisan Election Observation and Monitoring by citizen organizations. CODEO's preparations have therefore included training in observers CODEO's preparations have therefore included training its observers on these global principles, and thus we formally documented each CODEO observer's pledge of neutrality and non-partisanship. To test the readiness of CODEO's reporting and communication systems and its observers, all CODEO observers participated in a national simulation exercise on Tuesday, December 3rd. To further test the CODEO's preparedness for the December 7th election, all observers participated in the second and final simulation exercise on Thursday, December 5th. That's just yesterday. Ladies and gentlemen, with all these preparatory efforts successfully executed, we are confident that our observers have received the highest quality of training and are ready to carry out this important national assignment. To ensure that all CODEO observers are adequately positioned to observe the elections, CODEO stationary observers will arrive at their assigned polling stations by 6 a.m. tomorrow and remain there until the official declaration of the ballot count is complete. While stationed at the polling stations, observers will monitor the setup, the opening of the polling station, voting, closing, and counting procedures at the declaration and the declaration of the vote counts. They will regularly submit observation reports reflecting their findings and provide updates on incidents throughout the day. On the other hand, CODEO's mobile observers will visit various polling stations in their constituencies, particularly those polling stations without stationary observers deployed. They will also submit and send reports based on their observation findings. Later on December 7th, CODEO constituency and regional collation center observers will report at various collation centers nationwide, providing updates on the process and collation of election results. All CODEO observers will wear their blue CODEO t-shirt and a dark blue jacket boldly embossed on the front with CODEO, the CODEO logo, and the back with CODEO's name. They will also have CODEO white caps, so it's easy to identify who the CODEO rep is, and it should be easy to identify who the fake ones are as well, hopefully. CODEO observers will use SMS technology to rapidly send their findings to a sophisticated data management system at the CODEO National Information Center located here at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center. CODEO has set up this system so that observers can quickly send reports to the NIC at set times, allowing for a swift nationwide analysis of the voting processes. The National Information Center will then issue regular statements on the polling process. And as has been said already, you are welcome to observe how the station works, what the setup looks like. Critical incidents. CODEO has set up a critical incident desk at the National Information Center to track and address any issues that arise during the voting process. This includes violations, irregularities, disruptions, and other malpractices. Both stationary and mobile observers will file reports as incidents occur. Once verified, CODEO will share these reports with key stakeholders such as the Election Security Task Force and the Electoral Commission to ensure prompt action and corrective measures. CODEO will also collaborate with Pen Plus Bytes and the Ghana Fact-Checking Coalition to combat disinformation, malinformation, and all the other information sicknesses that abound. Dissemination of CODEO findings. CODEO plans, oh, why laughing? Because they are always creating some other things, so we'll find names for them later on. Dissemination of CODEO findings. CODEO plans to release 3 public statements within 24 hours of voting. These statements will be based on observation reports from CODEO observers. The first statement will be a midday situational statement issued at a press conference at the National Information Center on Election Day. That's tomorrow from this site. The second statement will be a press release after the polls close on December 7th. The third one will be at a press conference on December 8th to share CODEO's preliminary observations of the polling process. Additionally, CODEO will release a PVT statement. Please, let me repeat that. Let me slowly read that. Additionally, CODEO will release a PVT statement to verify the official presidential election results declared by the Electoral Commission. So it's verification after declaration. CODEO's extensive experience in citizens' election observation has established it as a trusted source of credible, non-partisan, and objective information on Ghana's electoral process. With its history dating back to the year 2000, CODEO has observed all presidential and parliamentary elections in Ghana since its establishment. It has also observed party primaries, local government elections, and by-elections. As in past elections, CODEO remains dedicated to upholding its commitment to Ghanaians by delivering impartial information about the electoral process. Now, to be continued. And I invite the co-chair, Mrs. Villas, to continue the statement.
So I'll take you through the highlights of CODEO observation of the electoral pre-election environment. As previously mentioned, the Electoral Commission's voter registration exercise and the subsequent display of the voter register kicked off CODEO's comprehensive observation activities for the December 7th election earlier in the year. CODEO shared its findings on these activities with the public. Beginning October 1st, CODEO deployed nearly 97 long-term observers to 97 purposefully selected constituencies nationwide. CODEO has since issued 2 public statements based on analysis of bi-weekly observation reports from its long-term observations between the period October 1st and November 15th. Analysis of the long-term observers report failed subsequently for the period November 16 to 28, and it reinforces the earlier findings CODEO observed. CODEO's observation of the pre-election environment between October 1st and November 28 yielded the following key findings. First, the political environment was generally calm and peaceful. Second, voter and civic education activities within the observed constituencies were generally low, although improvement was observed in the last few weeks. Before the elections, that is between the 28th of October and December 4th. Now, the New Patriotic Party and the National Democratic Party dominated the campaign scene in the constituencies observed. House-to-house campaigning was the most frequently observed activity, followed by the meetings and party rallies. And there were notable differences in the key issues addressed by the NPP and NDC campaigns. The main issues raised by both parties included education, the economy, unemployment, corruption, food and agriculture, water, health, sanitation, crime, and security. There were instances of incumbency abuse, including using state resources, such as public vehicles and government-owned equipment for campaign purposes. Voter inducement through the distribution of food, treats, and money by various candidates and campaigns was noted in a few constituencies. Incidents of vote buying were reported in a few constituencies in the country. Then the special voting exercises by the EC on December 2nd and 5th December this year. The report was, the Electoral Commission observed special voting on Monday, December 2nd and Thursday, December 5th, 2024, for security personnel, election officials, and journalists on duty on December 7th. CODEO observed the special voting by deploying 228 observers to 216 constituencies on Monday, December 2nd. Then CODEO observers also observed Thursday's special voting in the Eastern and Western region. On Tuesday, December 3rd, CODEO issued its observation statement on December 2nd, special voting exercise, which occurred in all but 2 regions of the country. While CODEO observer reports noted a generally smooth voting process, CODEO was alarmed by reports of some voters photographing cast ballots and alleged incidents of vote buying. Now, CODEO appealed for peace and credible elections. Ladies and gentlemen, to ensure a peaceful and credible election processes and outcomes, CODEO calls on the following actions to take place immediately. And these important steps are: all eligible citizens must follow the appropriate electoral processes to exercise their franchise, respect electoral rules and public order, and avoid any incident that could mar the integrity of the elections. Second, political parties and candidates must refrain from voter inducement practices. CODEO calls on voters to freely exercise their right to choose their leaders. Then political leaders, candidates, second, security personnel, and supporters must promote calm and restraint to maintain peace in the country. Now, the Electoral Commission and security agents must guarantee the secrecy of the vote and take appropriate measures in case of any attempt to influence voters. The Electoral Commission and all polling stations must firmly and impartially and objectively apply electoral rules to ensure the fair process. Party agents must respect electoral laws, behave responsibly, and assist officials in executing their duties effectively. The National Election Security Task Force and all security agents on duty must perform their duties with professionalism, fairness, and respect for Ghana's Constitution. Then again, the media must provide professional and balanced reporting on the elections. Finally, all domestic and international observers must support the polling exercise impartially and in coordination to ensure peaceful and credible elections. So in conclusion, CODEO urges Ghanaians to uphold democratic principles by peacefully selecting leaders, and CODEO commends all presidential candidates for their commitment to promoting peace during and after the election, as seen in the Peace Pact ceremony on November 28, 2024. CODEO is confident that all stakeholders, including the Electoral Commission, the security agents, the media, political party leaders, candidates, supporters, and all Ghanaians, will respect the country's electoral rules and regulations and discharge themselves accordingly. CODEO wishes to remind all to use appropriate channels and procedures to address any relevant grievance emanating from the conduct of the polls. And finally, CODEO calls on the general public to be wary of potential misinformation and take preventive measures to stem the spread of false information. As an independent, impartial, and objective observer, CODEO assures Ghanaians of its role in ensuring electoral integrity. CODEO's presence at polling stations will have a moderating influence on key actors promoting peaceful and credible elections. CODEO will also collaborate with the Electoral Commission, political parties, civil society organizations, international observers, and the media to achieve a successful election. CODEO acknowledges the presence and solidarity of observer groups that are on a technical mission and are being hosted by CODEO. They are as follows: the West Africa Democracy Solidarity Network, the West Africa Election Observers Joint Mission, and the East and Horn of Africa Election Observers Network, the National Democratic Institute Study Mission, the Nigerian Civic Society Situation Room, and the International Women Communications Center. We recognize our sister organizations, Yerga Africa, which is also based in Nigeria. Acknowledgement. CODEO acknowledges with gratitude the general support of its partners, including the American people, through the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, the National Democratic Institute, the Embassy of the Kingdom of the Netherlands, the Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office of the UK, and the European Union and ECOWAS. So having said all this, we end up by saying, may God bless our homeland Ghana and keep us safe throughout the elections. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Villas. Before we open up for questions, so that the board can respond, let me do some few acknowledgements as well. So we like to thank Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Center. They've been our partners since 2000 when we started deploying the PVT. And I don't know if the commandant is here, but really grateful for all the support. Also, to acknowledge our technical partners from the National Democratic Institute, NDI, Anis, see, I saw him earlier. They've been with us all throughout the year. Really appreciate their support. And also to recognize the delegation from DC, the International Republican Institute. Are they here? All right, great. Thank you very much for coming. And I'd like to recognize Dr. Sarah Biriti, who is the chairperson of the Global Network of Domestic Election Monitors, GENDEM. She's also the chairperson of the Eastern Horn of Africa Election Observers Network. And Reverend James Lahai, who is the chairperson of WIOM, but also the chairperson of the African Election Observers Network. Thank you very much, and you are all very welcome. Let me also recognize our regional coordinators and consensus supervisors from Accra, Greater Accra, who are here, representing our 31 regional coordinators across the country and our 276 consensus supervisors. Thank you very much for all the hard work. They've been hard at work, observing the special voting, still trying to get all our observers trained, recruited, and ready, the simulation process. Really appreciate all your effort. Thank you very much also for coming. And then let me also, Commonwealth Secretariat delegation is here. Thank you very much. Krisanko Watch for Malawi. Thank you very, very, very much for being here. And I think ECOWAS is also here. Thank you very, very much for all the support. So we'll now open for questions, clarifications from anybody, if anybody has a question, from the media as well. If you have any questions, we'll take them. The floor is open. Yes, sir. Get the mic to him, please. So if you introduce yourself and
my name is Jerry John J. Stevenson. I'm with IRI.
Oh, okay.
So I would want to know, in the address it was indicated the CODIO would do collation so that they would juxtapose that with the one the EC declares. Is it the point that CODIO will be able to send reps across all the over 400,000 polling stations to make sure that they get the result from these areas for such purposes? I want clarity on that. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Can we take some more, please? Okay. All right. I'll ask the co-site. That's relation to the PVT. So CODEO's PVT, which is the parallel vote tabulation, is based on statistical sampling. So there are over 40,000 polling stations. Our PVT sample is 1,500, but it's drawn from a national representative sample that basically mimics the number of voters in all the constituencies in all the regions. So we are able to estimate the results, not just the final result, but the process, right from the beginning, the setup, how many materials have been distributed to most of the places. We can monitor all those processes as well as the results using the estimates within a certain margin of error. It's not, we have not deployed in all the 40,000, but that's what we are able to do with the sample that we have drawn. Thank you. Okay. All right. Okay. Are we good? Reverend, are you going to make a solidarity statement? They have sabotaged your mic. Good.
You caused the problem by requesting for a solidarity statement. I want to know what your relationship is like with the Electoral Commission, noting that they are conducting the elections and you are undertaking the PVT, which definitely is projecting what the results are. And in the event of having network challenges, what's your plan B so that you still have your data in real time?
We might not share our plan B with you, but we'll still answer that. So the convention and the practice is 72 hours for the Electoral Commission to declare. So this is not by law, but since we started with the Fourth Republic, the time frame is normally 3 days that the Electoral Commission works to produce a report. Normally by the 9th, sometimes even 8th if it's possible, they release the response. And CODEO have always respected the 72-hour window. We work very closely with the Electoral Commission throughout the process. If there are any issues that the Electoral Commission is facing in terms of collating and declaring results, we'll have plenty of opportunity to engage them on that. So the role is mutually respectful and complementary. The Electoral Commission, as Mr. Ahim mentioned, there have been times where we have picked up some miscalculation that we have pointed out, and that has been corrected in the past. So we hope that engagement continues also for 2024. But our protocol is that within the 72-hour window, once they declare, we also go and share our estimates. So as for our plan Bs for network challenges and all of those things, as I said, that's our trade secret. So I will not share that with you. Thank you. All right. Whilst you're doing that, let me recognize Dr. Gariba from the CDD West Africa, our sister organization in Nigeria. Dr. Gariba. Yes, sir. Welcome. Welcome.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm Celestine from the Nigerian Civil Society Situation Room. My interest is on the relationship with the security and how is this going to play out in terms of deployment across the country, especially around the rural communities, the grassroots communities. Then the second one is on the inclusiveness with regards to participation. So what does CODE have in place in terms of disaggregating to a certain participation? Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much. My name is Austin. I wanted to just find out. Ghana is a beacon of hope, particularly in West Africa. What is it that CODE will anticipate as the greatest danger to the electoral process or election, democracy as it were, in tomorrow's elections?
Okay, maybe let me take those few. Relationship with the security services. Again, for Ghana, we have the National Election Security Task Force, which is a specialized security arrangement that is put in place for elections. And that it's a unified command that has the Inspector General.
And the Electoral Commission to ensure that we encourage every Ghanaian to also be on the lookout and be on the watch in preventing such things to happen. And these few examples clearly is I believe that the NDC is engaged in a deliberate attempt to disenfranchise the Ghanaian people after they have realized they have lost the elections. And of course, clearly, with the numerous arrests that is going on, it's clear that they are failing at their strategy and they are failing woefully. And so if you're an NDC agent, you're an NDC officer, you're an NDC friend that has been engaged by them to execute any other activity from this moment to the next few hours before the election ends, please be reminded that you are going to be arrested, you are going to be caught, and when you are arrested, you are going to be alone. And so you would advise yourself and ensure that you do not engage in whatever it is that they have actually tasked you to do. The EC officials have done tremendously well, except for the few accomplices of the NDC within the EC. But the good news is that even for those EC officials, you have the Electoral Commission swiftly taking action and dealing with them. And we commend the security services also for the good work they have done so far. Be rest assured, we have a very robust system in place that will not allow such manipulations to succeed. In that vein, we restate our call to the Ghana Police Service to give us the status of each of the single arrests they have made for each of these criminalities that the NDC have been doing since the last 3-4 days and today. We need to bring these things to the attention of the Ghanaian people, give us a status report, and we need to get any other person to get to know what has happened to these criminals, so that when they are also thinking and planning to do the same with the NDC, they will be cautious. To our very good Ghanaian people, be rest assured that we are going to increase the vigilance at the polling stations, and we call on all of you to join us in this endeavor. We believe that Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia is winning these elections and winning it in a very big way. And that is why we want these elections to be free and fair. It is our elections that we are winning, and we do not want the elections to be disrupted. We are committed to a peaceful process, we are committed to a transparent process, and we are calling on every Ghanaian out there to join us in this cause to ensure that your vote would count, and that at the end of the day, we will not be having an illegal president, but we'll be having a president that has been voted for by the Ghanaian people and by the people who qualify to do so. We trust that each and every Ghanaian would exercise their right to vote and will not be dissuaded or be intimidated by the selfish act of the opposition NDC. We encourage you that in the next few hours before the election ends, please and please again, go and add up to the numbers. Step out. Go and cast your vote. This is your moment. This is your time. This is your time to show that you are a patriotic citizen. Go out there and cast your vote and also make your voice count and make your voice also be heard. Remain calm. Do not be worried. We are with you. We are committed to protect your vote, and we are going to work with you from now to the end of the elections to ensure a peaceful, free and fair elections that will reflect the views of the Ghanaian people. And we are confident that seeing what is going on, sensing what is happening, clearly Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia is in the lead and is going to win these elections. The NDC is jittery. The NDC is worried because they came into these elections with one strategy. Having realized in the last few months that they are losing the elections, they came in with one strategy: let's steal the will of the people. And at this point that they realize that their strategy is failing, it is causing a lot of discomfort for them. And this is the time for all of us to work together and push them completely into the corner and into obscurity. If they are confident that their candidate is a credible candidate to lead this country, and they are confident that the good people of Ghana want their candidate, they should allow the process to go free and fair. But if they choose not to allow it and allow the laws to work, we are here to work with you, the Ghanaian people, and all stakeholders to continuously clip them like we have done since morning and ensure that they fail in this endeavor. Thank you very much for your attention. Like we said earlier on, we will continuously engage every single hour, every single minute if we have to do so, to ensure that we go through today in a very peaceful, transparent manner. We are encouraging all other political parties to also move away from the misinformation and disinformation and told the way Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia and the MPP have told. For our key audience, for the Ekenya say, Yabada Mose, Ewa Kwaya, Yena Aka and Wabo Mafia Nopa, Yetu Yenwako police stations are yet to Aba. Nipe Pia Kotuaba across the country, you know, Eyenika. Now the SN say, Moma Yenina Yen sorry, Wa Unyan to Abano, Bomode na sorry waka, Nako police station, Nako Kotuaba. In so Ashasia Eto, one Kwan Kotua, one who bedu, so now by what you say Ukono, then Suno, Aba Bekawa Shefie. Way and a wombre nie, Sambre, and I'll bet to me a ma, also what dream poor, and then Wakasa, and then the Dawa Komasono, will bet to me a chair dream through the votes and I said through the ballot. Your best say, a more beer, a more beer show, if you are no pa, voting process no akosoboko, and me ka craving in ya say, na delays kakra ebem, but empolumeno ka say, some be any nano. Sambre abato na shasia ekoso ye gidi se electoral commission ewo ihihye da fam e be make sure se wo delay ne mu nko ade a wo betu eja ho kwan ato aba enso so munyamo ni tua se oman ewo mi amanyokuo no ye we bi mu a omo de omo se bone nko na mbre bi omo de NDC amanyokuo ntimi no kasa yi ye pre asumdwe ye pre se ye betumi ato ya ba wa asumdwe mu no omo hye sumase a omo ne nipa bi aka bo mo mpese omo sei oman no prekope anopai eye Kintampo South constituency electoral commission ni a ye de ahye ne nsa se on tete ballot papers ne ma Ghana fon koto aba no wa fa ballot paper de ye ne se ote a na wa te paper no ate Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia tie free so eti woje paper no na se wo ballot box ni mu a wo be hu se wo hu Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia mpo na wato aba ye den ama no na eno no ekoye ade na tiamra nyame ncha de ehyehyeye a MPP ye de ato akwai ene electoral commission for nhyehyeye o maye ene police service for ene bra abrinti yetumi eche abrantie ne din ade Joseph Derry a all yes adwumedie boni ma NDC for the crane say na wotumi atete ballot papers mako edu enum ama nipa bi but sembre the electoral commission for etu hwana mu a Ghana police for say so abranti mu a embra eni nidi ebiem etwuma nkwama constituency NDC youth organizer ne ba aye freno Charles Fokuo NDC youth organizer ne fa ballot papers the man the ban say onko polling station na onko koto aba na onfa sa ballot papers here 76 yi enfengu ballot box nim na nyame nchade esa ne hyehye a MPP de to akwemu ene hyehye electoral commission ene police bambo for de to akwemu nti yensa etumi eso NDC ni bayi emu a ene me no kase yi samohwe video ya etwegu ya police for sa kano a embra ene no edi na nokre obi be bisa se edie mpa na beba otrim na ama wakọ polling station de ballot papers a enka ho se wo de kwakọ share ballot boxes dim NDC amayo nkoa na boni eti sei on betumi akyekere ato omutrim se on ba bedi de aye ka ene kokobo aye de boga na fo nyina ne se sasem ba wo nkoa na mbra ene wo bedi eti se NDC fo ene mo ababehia na NDC fo ahyewo kutupa na ahyewo nkoa se kodi boni bi se ya kai se me ne okasei Joseph Derry nkoa na dem kai se me ne okasei Charles Fuko nkoa na dem na fa to utrim se aban sa so mu a embra ene wo nkoa na beye den ebedi examples ba ko mienu wei achires pepe se ndisi fo se abato na yekoto no bodi nkuguo na omo ba abato we mu e de hyehye ba ko pe na baaye se ye de bone ene be fa kwan bi so na yetumi age ganafo adwenche efi omusem na munya rehemu se MPP amayokuo ye gina ye nan so fitianopa bone bia ndisi fo ayo madwen so mo bedi bia ya che omo strategy ba kompo ni wa efi anopa omaya etumi afa kwan mu efi samre akopem membre ya beto aba na wie no Ghana bi eni bia nya ahotoso se ye bebo ya bato no ho ban ye bebo ya electoral process no ho ban na kwan bi ye befa so a ye ma NDC ni bia ntumi nya kwan endi bone a omo ahyehye egu akwan mu no ye mom kwan emom ntumi endi saa ebone no ye sere Ghana ni bia wonya nto aba se embre na enie aka dɔhwe ba ye mienu miense bi na ye de abato na ye den abewieye hyase se won nante aka o polling station empo na wa ye wadwen se won to aba na sambrei bone NDC fo edi foto utim na fa hye won kran se kɔ na won so ema yetumi enko kire wadwen na mampeni e beyi no enya mampeni a won so wadwen kire ye den eka ho nya rehyemu na nya gidie se ye bebo wa aba no ho ban yen MPP amayoku bone ba kompo ni wa NDC for that to akwemu a ye betumi ama ho kwan ama na bem obi obaye na dwen so obedi sa bone no nya rehemu se ye beche no na embra eno no edi efi samre ya kokopem se ye beto aba na wie no ye bekoso ani mo edi nkomo bra no na embra bi ansem be bia no mo fanto mutirim se de aye tintim aye ne mo kan nyina no aye normal Ghana Police for the Electoral Commission for ekredi hu djuma dada enti obi a or perpetrating misinformation and disinformation. To say the NDC for you know, Mumbongu, Nientie the Ghana Police Service, Electoral Commission, and no more, yet the Juma show must also share, no more my processes, and Cosso Chochono, Yashanayama processes, and Cosso. Now, and Brandon Brano, Yanamo, Ebedin Como, Yawa Gidie, Panse, or Helsen about one corner, Dr. Mahamudu Bamia, Ninkunim Dieno, one hemper by a cassia, as in Semia Yesuno, Yadamase, the best science waba. Na ya sanso ene mo ba se bedu nkomo emretia mu ya me hye nyina
principle and based on the information that we have. The other observers, which is the 1,900 and so that are observing, are also deliberately deployed to particular constituencies for good reasons. You know, we are interested in competitive parliamentary seats. We are interested in hotspots, you know, violent-prone areas. So they have been purposively also deployed, and all of them will be sending messages through our system. So they are all basically using the same system. It's just that we disaggregate this data when it hits the system. On military deployment, Yes, in 2020, it was something that voters expressed concern about, and since 2020, there has been a lot of engagement as to how the military is going to deploy. Just recently, if you have seen the statement from the Ghana Armed Forces, they have made it clear that they are not going to deploy at the polling station, and that they are going to only support the police and on the invitation of the police. So that's the understanding that we have with the military in terms of their deployment. And the issue for us is to make sure that the military is not necessarily involved in things like crowd control and so on and so forth, which in the past caused some fatalities. So at least I think we've come far in terms of making it clear how the military is going to support the process, and I think that's a good development for all of us. Okay, I think there was a question at the back, and then yes.
Sorry, hi, good morning. I'm Genevieve Partington, Amnesty International, one of the members of the General Assembly. My question is to complement the question of the person from Burkina Faso. I think just to elaborate that, it was also on how has the conflict in Burkina Faso had an effect on the constituencies at the border, and are we deploying observers over there? To add to that, how about Boko? I know the situation is really bad there, and it will be very interesting to know, are we deploying observers there, or are they going to be around that constituency? What's the, strategy around that? Thank you.
Hello. Good morning. I am Shaibu Adamu, a constituency supervisor in Greater Accra region. We heard that, or we learned that CODIO has recruited a number of ED observers from its member organizations, the 42 member organizations. Aside that, we have also recruited some youth groups. And I think this year is the first time we are doing that. And I want to know the reason for engaging the youth groups as part of the ED observers. Aside that, the second one is a commendation for CODIO for the platform to young Ghanaians to also support in nation building. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you very much. I think so. This election, with the help of the Netherlands embassy, we targeted really increasing the number of youth observers. If you look at our census data, we have a very young population. Even if you look at the voter population, 55% are between the ages of 18 and 35. So young people are really going to determine this election. And as CODEO, for inclusivity and all of the things that we want to promote in terms of getting Ghanaians, we say the youth are the future, but we know that given the population dynamics, they are actually the present. So we really need to make a very strong effort to begin to support young people to participate in an important national exercise like elections. The more they participate, the more they also appreciate the importance of good governance, democracy, because the other narrative we are getting is young people are also getting frustrated with democracy. So I think it's an opportunity to really encourage a lot of young people to participate. And I know that our constituency supervisors and our regional coordinators have complained about some of the youth, but as I said on your platform, treat them as your little brothers and sisters and encourage them, throughout the process. Once they do it, they will get the confidence, they will become more experienced, and I think Ghana will be better for it. So really, and as I said, I really appreciate the hard work that you have put in to be able to get all these young people as part of it. And all the youth groups that have supported us through. At the end, they are still very much as part of the command structure of CODEO, and that's why you are there, that's why you train them, and so on and so forth. So we're looking really forward to working with them, not just now, but also in the future. Boko, yes, it's, I think there have been even further deployment of the army to Boko because of the ethnic and chieftaincy conflict in Boko. And I said that in Boko, basically, it's almost like an apartheid system, unfortunately, to use that word, but the reality is that you can only recruit Mamprusi people in the Mamprusi areas and Kusasi people in the Kusasi areas. People cannot cross, to other places. And for their own security, we've had observers, there. But they have observed the BVR process, the biometric voter register. They've observed special voting there, and so on. So they've done a brilliant job so far. We have not had any issues, and we hope that will continue during the elections as well in the country. So yes, there will be deployments there, but that's where we've also engaged with the army that we need a lot more improvement in the community entry of the security services when they are going into areas like that, so that we don't have clashes and all of that. But we've trained our observers on security, and we continue to keep an eye on those kinds of areas, particularly where there are conflict or simmering conflict. So those are some of the steps we have taken, and we'll continue to work with the security on that. I think, yeah. So I think I explained the issue about what we'll do with when there are discrepancies in terms of our protocols, and I mentioned the 2016 one as an example of how we dealt with that, and we will continue to do that engagement as we go along with the electoral. We normally, on the 8th of, which is the Sunday, we normally release our turnout figures and our rejected ballot figures. So it's always to give an indication to our stakeholders that we have the data. So we'll share our turnout figures and rejected ballot figures on Sunday when we do our press conference. And then we all patiently wait for the results. Thank you. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. All right. So I would now close this session and invite you to our data center, which is at the back, where my colleagues will take you through basically how the system works, how we're receiving our data, and all the processes involved with that. Thank you very much for coming, and we'll be seeing you more. I see Mr. Njo Kambodu at the back there from NAGRAT, one of our advisory board members. Welcome very much. Thank you.
Myself, what about democracy? And so we'll be discussing issues like what's the democracy in Ghana, in other countries in the sub-region. Have we some gains? Are we progressing? Are we, and what are the issues and what are the challenges? And we're very fortunate to have a team of democracy project here with us, walk us through all the issues that I highlighted. We have any online, so we hope you that's today the event. And so straight into it, to start up, we'll take the remarks from Johnny Wilson. He was online, and Mr. Wilson is the board chair of the Democracy Project, who is apt that we from him as
begin our program. Well, you're ready. Please, as your welcome remarks.
The team have been engaging with some voters here at Ayawaso Westbrook, specifically the Legon campus, and we're here to know what they have experienced and how processes during the voting have been so far. Good morning.
Good morning.
Tell us how the process so far has been.
Well, so far it's been smooth. That the polling units have been splitted, so it's very easy. Just that if you were not here during the exhibition, you don't know exactly which side you are. So when you go here, they tell you move to the next, you move to the next, they say go next. But it's been very smooth. The only challenge I've noticed has got to do with the length of the ballot paper. You say it's very long, and then the polling booth is short. So wherever you are standing and voting, anyone, including the agents, are able to spot. So if you are pulling the paper in, it means you are voting someone down. Then if the paper is coming down the booth, obviously you are voting someone up there. So I think that's a challenge. Maybe it wasn't anticipated, but it should have been checked. Or maybe it should be, the polling booth should be positioned in such a way that nobody can really tell how you are voting. But for now, everything is fine.
So in general, what are your expectations after this election?
Okay, so in the morning, I voted now. The mornings, we've known this is the third time I'm voting in an election. And it's very smooth. It's in the afternoon and getting to the closing time that there are always challenges. We pray with the division in the polling units. There are no challenges. Everyone goes through. I spent less than 5 minutes voting. So my challenge is that let's get to the time of counting. I'm going home. I will be back. I have charged three rechargeable lamps to aid transparency in collation. I'll be at the polling station. We'll come and finish. We will all accompany the ballot papers to the collation centers, wherever it will be. We will follow up to ensure that our ballots really count. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much.
You are welcome.
Good afternoon, Honorable.
Yeah, good afternoon.
I'm from ABC News. And I would like to ask you a few questions.
Yes.
How confident are you in the security situation for this election?
Well, so far, where I have been to, it's been okay because, you see, security becomes a challenge when the people around are not cooperating, when the system is being twisted. When the system is not being twisted and everything is going on well, security, no problem at all. So I don't see, there are a few lapses here and there, but in its generality, from my point of view, from where I am, as a former member of parliament for Medina, covering that area, it's been okay. Challenges in terms of the voters, some of them can find their name, a few of them, some about the serial numbers not being released to the party agents, the validating stamp and what have you. Aside of that, there's no problem. Everything is going on well. The turnout has not been very, very, very encouraging, but after about midday, I realized I started picking. In the morning, it was a bit sluggish, but then I started picking, and you can see that everybody is peacefully doing his or her own thing. We are tired, and we all need change.
Please, how confident are you in...
I think I've already told you that we are tired and we all need change. So that tells you how confident I am.
Okay.
Even my own friends who are MPP people are tired because we all go to the same market. We drink the same water. Galam says it's affecting all of us. Okay, prices are shooting up. It's affecting everybody. It doesn't know NDC, it doesn't know MPP, it doesn't know PNC. Everybody is suffering. So everybody wants to change. After 8 years, I think it is important that we change. Okay, me, I don't care if we change and the party that comes, the NDC, they also don't perform. You change them. That is how democracy evolves. You look at America, it's changed. You look at UK, Great Britain, it's changed. You look at Brazil, it's changed. Several other places, they are changing. And that is the essence of democracy. So I don't see any problem. I have very big confidence that yes, my party will come because Ghanaians are yearning for change. In Canada, Japan, one of the leading members of the MPP said, even we don't want change. Change is looking for us to take us. So that alone, things are not good. The youth in particular. You hear 24-hour economy, nobody should tell you.
And I will say, you line, and only yesterday we do 5 million. That would be our listening of modern idea. But to me, say, I will listen. And you're Buri Hampan, Michelle Tibia, you yam any 10 out tonight. Slow. I use a wash a do. I yet to say, didn't put 2 1 cancer. Wako baby Sabatu and yes, well, I had a young Iru be what of his son mining. The Emfa Yankuma, the Emfa yet. Maybe all crazy who you'll be away now. That one to one of the man first. So, dear best, a month for Comra. If you are main memoir, say announcement. You, not month for about energy and your qualities and your way. This is a month for. Obi here says so beto aba oba na ye fefefe ya bobon na ye dana se so asem bi ansi wa ha sa na ye bebo mpan sese mbia ya ka no ma asem bi anye den ensi woyi ba unia e Ghana woyi mahama e Ghana ni nyina de se ye nyina ye de agi de ebeyi na mom wana na ka one politicians in power system and it's up to them. It's the Yadamasi.
Nana Pachon campus.
And yes, sir, send a midi can kind. So, one who win your man on the edge, thinking, yeah, but what do you want? Oh, over 2 years. What 2 years? What to mean, Kobe Crafty? I'm paying for the baby. Oh, friend, phone the ground. Over the office. The secretary, Becca, why busy? National Brasa. It's a baby say to me, who can't wait a not now. What's some better mental one? I'm not sure what you say. If I'm cooking with you, use all the professional. What who then so? Get your man first. Ghana. To one hour, work your time and try to catch you over. After one was a time, look on the scan of man. What them little. What them recover to. Then so, and on my Yancy shape. One more day, I'm going to run to Ghana. And finding time of friend. Why?
Sama kwenye isi na nchi ya Marekani na nchi ya Labda.
Two one stations, but my core other stations from ME school has said. I will say about visa officers. Be a cassette, and a year. About what they are going to check it. It's been a ribbon team for fee, the Koyabasa, and the environment. The Bayan Bisa about to come for any party for an MC for say, qua or more cassette, be a caution to a team. Now I am the mere than a bomb by yourself. That was a see
Nana beto abane hu asante mantem na so se the high sea tell the MPP penny for man to say na man
so oye bibi no akoma mu fita wadwen mu fita na me nya eye be nya me edi ekire enye sakasaka
ndawo ma se say gusu ayeto abane dey asem na beka kire asante mantem
oh nya me kan say obia say this time fancy akakakra na dumi no apai mu say akọ brele be fa ndi na meka na say obi a onto be bia on si for no waka na meto aba na nya wono na koma pe no de na bin tire no onto aba no enko meto aba asa wankoto ebi dia sabe o fa ho nyanzani na mentuaba ene say ya sabi o sabi previous na dia ni nyanza mi o dia wa kotoaba na ma
Donald so they see and say a true police station A and B. Na A ni B ni na line no na A the same one saso kama e. But me who say police station B ballot issuer for missing or say at the end of the ama omomudi kiloma it took almost 2 minutes. Not on Timmy empty. And the people were talking say you delay musa lan move. That one dey move come. And me approach him and say what is happening because me plan me when say Australia and san what here. Or the take for the talk one no adan no any say I say why you frustrated. Na me approach him and say oh that baby and you already boss me kasa na yes san. Then these people they just came in. Now I want to try some interact with the
situation.
Yeah, system na and air possible.
Now, ultimate report to my presiding officer now.
Yeah, me catch him because and a family can't report to me and say a fire offer something. And many angel and was say obey. Into me say be more me say be who you. Never I know mom deal la ni mu na kasa. So now I try to say idea will be the following material be na ban will be a who.
Okay.
When we say that there na person dey no must say the all tia there no on ten in temple. Na mo sha la ya mo ko. Obi enu ha o mu gwa akọ ani. So that was the inspiration.
Okay. Everybody was bebre. I think say me hu ni say o call police station by police station.
Yeah.
So far about no hu ni say turn out no dey say no.
So far police station bi wo ha very encouraging. Bi wo nso so na as a form kaka. But in terms of security there, everything is intact. Okay. We are hoping that the people will come out and vote.
So far, no one we are then.
Me electoral area coordinator and Messiah observer for New Patriotic Party.
Okay. I think when everybody was Bibia no me asonte. Me asonte everybody there.
So are you sure people will come out and vote?
Exactly. We share the past records now. It do sabri asa. It will be a first. It be a 3 hours no. Na enipa no e di push aba na akofom kakra e do ho a be 12 no so na asa akofom after 12 na dey kono na push na asa aba nti sa sa na anytime be eba the highest turnout and we knew say to say the muhu ni do na so no fan say queue na e wo ho no sa
MP tambe no be ba tunaba.
Actually it will depends no rounds of because he also monitoring other electoral area and other communities. I had no to about for now me who come about the
it does.
In the year 2000, she's social media. John Dramani Mahama.
His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, National Democratic Congress, NDC, so proud now, never control now because it's not right. I come and so John Dramani Mahama, the Australian box yes. So if you want to get money yes, money I've been doing for presidential ballot now. Yes, come to yes, to go to the Mahama, Adam so Kajina so currently to say communication now, you should follow John Dramani Mahama, Castumbo, good. Elections so I'll assure you to ballot paper na abana yes, yes, exactly. Presidential ballot presidential ballot
incumbent member of parliament for the Bollywood he is normally second for him. Let's come back. They are simple.
Feeling that it is being MPR. How's the
feeling it, it's almost the same. Because apart from the fact that I'm in Kubimu, there's so responsibility to make sure that the next person or best succeeding in also every MPP. Now, apart from that, record also you're setting one hand. Either say you be maintaining and I say baby account. Into the responsibility no Emma parliamentary candidate or I was a man so many penny queen na eternity. Now also it's me actually more votes for both parliamentary and presidential. It's as if saying me and a messiah candidate because at least I know me were experience on especially on D-Day monitoring operations near the now so we are supporting him na aja okunimde bia sefata bia ono nso na satimi aka and so far so the baby ayekobia think say okay we have observed that there are some few polling stations turn out no work from kakra and you know we just have to encourage bibia say unkoto waba bomodiane pie na beto waba enka say me twen ko 5 anu maba ahwe abeba na line e bo ha no sisi a wokọ bibia edem na electoral commission process no mama nema SPD app into ba only 5 minutes kra wa ha into ama process na content almost everywhere kokona na live wa just for some few minutes and I'll be this one into best show bibia ukokromoti no na ye utumi eno na wonso betimi di akire nipa a wo pese obi di wani into no men kase metina fi cause wa meto obi beto no yi ebia na wompe na ama into obi amomode no meto aba na ye nyina ye ntimi enyi panyin na obetimi abo amagana akonanim ene kwa breman so afa ne tumo pefra
news coming in from
I think it's a very smooth process. I was informed that our materials have been on time since we started monitoring at dawn. The process is pretty simple, identification, etc. And we're able to, myself and my wife have discussed our ballot. We're going to monitor the other polling stations and then we'll wait for the counting and the coalition. But so far here in the constituency, it's been generally count.
You had target in 2016, 2020, 2024. What is your target?
Well, our target or our actuals from 2016 were at a starting point. Consistently, I think our numbers have improved, and we are looking to improve it again this time around.
Specific figure?
No, I won't give you our specific figures.
You know,
we have improved consistently, and we expect to improve one more time.
People are aiming getting 60, 70. We know this constituency has been a stronghold of the NPP. 2020, you did quite well. So if you can put a figure on it, that would be best.
We moved from 2016, moved to 2020. We'll be going higher in 2024.
What about this? How do you see the process?
Pretty smooth so far, as I mentioned. Materials arrived on time. We haven't had any disturbances here. Pretty peaceful. We've just finished casting our ballots, my wife and I, and we're going to monitor what's going on in the other polling stations.
Great for now.
And now we say, you line is I don't know, yes, I do 5 million. That could be a within listening of modern idea. But to me, say, I will listen. And you're Buri Hampan, Tibia, we are me 10 out tonight. Slow. I use a wash a do. Ya yetene se binum petrol tia won kansana wa akoto dabi sabatu anyesa wa ade yan ayeru yubi wa obiso mannim ti yemfa yenkoma ni yemfa nye baby wo kra se unya obibi no wa nya dawa no to na dwene o man no ho first so wa ti e besere o manfo komra ewi a me memo ayi say announcement yo na manfo aba ene de enye politics enye we this is some info obi here says so beto about oba na ye fefefe ya ko na ye da na se sa se bi ensi wa ha sa na ye be bom pan system bia ya aka no ma se bi anye den ensi wo yi ba uni a e Ghana wo yi mahama e Ghana ni nyina na se ye nyina ye de agi de e be yi na mom wana na ka all politicians in Washington and it's up to them. Enti yada wase
Nana Mpachon campus
enye fesa say na midi kan say wo hu we ne ya o man no ho ne adwene tinke nya but what dey aye won
at all. In fact, even if you go to the lower hill, the MPP normally faces intimidation around the Kokom, Kwamoso electoral areas, and getting down to Tinkon and areas. These places we face intimidation. But in this particular election, we've also decided that our people should be vigilant. people to should also, and our motto is simple down there and also here. When you see something, say something. And then you also report to the security officials also present. And so I have not seen any intimidation on the part of the MPP here in this constituency. I haven't seen intimidation as at now on the part of the NDC in this constituency. I'm also here to also have verifiable evidence that there's been intimidation of the NDC agents or party officials in the Ashanti region.
Thank you very much. To bring them to social welfare to swap ballot boxes. That won't happen. In fact, we can, Bible says that shall not swear. I would have sworn everything that it won't happen. It won't happen. So those who are at the COLLATION Center at social welfare, who are stuffing papers in ballot boxes and printing them, printing the president, the MPP candidates, thinking that in the evening they can swap. It won't work. We know that we pick intel that they want to do the same at Otinibi and at Danfa. We are sending a strong warning to them that, look, if that is what you plan to do, Medina cannot contain all of us because we will not be violent. But we can assure you that a Drobia Beka them. Look, we can assure you that we are so prepared that none of the machinations will work today. So I'm using this also to call the attention of the security services, those who are listening to us, the election task force. I'm calling the attention that they should monitor social welfare, they should monitor the COLLATION Center and social welfare, they should monitor OTDB, they should monitor Danfa, because we have clear intels that is where they want to do some shenanigans. But in Medina here, we are not going to allow that.
Were you impressed by the voter turnout so far?
I think so far so good. I think that the turnout this morning is good. We believe that we should be having nothing less than 80 to 85% turnout across board by the time the polls are over, because a lot of people are turning out to vote.
So your team, your party agents, have any of them been attacked?
Not at all. We don't have any case of attack on party agents. What we have had is some electoral officers trying to use their position to influence would-be voters that vote one. This was an intel we picked, but we thought it was just a joke. But we observed some electoral officers doing that, and our agents raised those concerns, and it brought a little bit of altercation. But so far, that has also come under control. So we are hoping that everything will end well. Our eyes are on the ball, because we know that Ghana is resetting. The people of Ghana are resetting Ghana. And it's our duty to protect their votes. And that's exactly what we will do.
Thank you.
You are
advertise your brand or business on ABC News GH Television. Call us on 030-278-8645 or 050-993-0360 to secure your slot. You can advertise your brand or business.
Thank you.